The Reality of Aid is proud to bring you the key lessons and recommendations from its flagship biennial report titled The Reality of Aid Report 2020-2021, Aid in the Context of Conflict, Fragility, and the Climate Emergency. Amid the pandemic, the Reality of Aid has mobilized its members across the globe to contribute to a global study on aid and development cooperation trends focused on responding to the needs of countries in situations of conflict, fragility, and the climate crisis. The Reality of Aid Report 2020-2021 turns its attention to the triple nexus of humanitarian, development, and peace pillars in responding to the growing vulnerabilities of the poorest and marginalized peoples compounded by the pandemic, growing conflicts, and the climate emergency. Here are 4 key lessons from the report. Number 1. Humanitarian actors are cautious. Protecting humanitarian principles will be challenging in the implementation of the triple nexus in many countries experiencing conflict and political ruptures. Number 2. The emphasis on private sector, extractive resource development by different donors and governments, alongside different security-oriented approaches to constructing peace, affect ways the triple nexus approach rolls out in conflict and fragility contexts. The result can be very serious consequences for the human security of people on the ground most affected by these priorities. Number 3. The commitment to localization is largely unfulfilled and civil society is under attack in many countries. At the same time, key dimensions of the triple nexus require a strongly engaged civil society. Number 4. A few donors have examples of changing nexus practices, but most donors face significant institutional barriers in implementing the triple nexus. The interconnected crisis of a global pandemic, the persistence of vulnerability, poverty, and inequality in fragile country contexts, and the unfolding of a climate emergency together suggest 4 key recommendations for transformative change. Number 1. Donors must scale up ODA to match the demands of developing countries in ensuring the availability, accessibility, and the quality of healthcare, to address debt cancellation, and finance social security and national and local recovery plans for the most vulnerable and marginalized. Number 2. Donors must tackle policy incoherence in conflict-affected and fragile contexts. Number 3. Effective implementation of the triple nexus approach requires a close understanding of the priorities of local communities and the inclusion of diverse development actors, including civil society. Number 4. Implement climate finance commitments that respect development effectiveness principles and take account of the triple nexus approaches. We thank the following organizations who have contributed to the Reality of Aid Report 2020-2021. To learn more about the Reality of Aid Report 2020-2021, visit this page.